Your career vanishes the moment the stage lights hit that pitted, flaking mirror at 6:42 p.m. 10 years of grinding in dust-filled dressing rooms and bitter coffee mornings come down to this final performance. You drop your coat on the folding chair, ignoring your silent phone. There is nothing left to check. In the silence of this decaying theater, you realize tonight isn't just another show. It is the night your legacy finally ends. At the corners, like autumn leaves. You begin the process. It is a slow, methodical erasure of the person who walked in off the street. You apply the foundation with the flat of your palm. You aren't fixing your face. You are constructing a mask that can survive the distance from the front row to the back of the balcony, even if that balcony is empty. Even if those rows are nothing but ghosts of ticket holders who decided that streaming a movie was easier than driving downtown. You lean into the light. The bulb hums, a low frequency vibration that settles into your teeth. You know this hum. It is the sound of the ghost light. It has stood in the center of every stage you've ever walked, a singular, bare bulb on a metal stand, casting long, erratic shadows that dance against the proscenium arch. It's there for safety, they say. It's to keep you from falling into the orchestra pit in the dead of the night. But you know better. The ghost light is a promise. It is the only thing that remembers that this space once held 1,000 heartbeats at the same time. You stand in the wings. The auditorium is a cavern. It is a void of dark, plush velvet, and peeling gold leaf. You don't need a monitor to know how many people are sitting in the dark tonight. You can feel the air displacement. You can feel the lack of heat. Maybe it is 4 people. Maybe it is nobody at all. It doesn't matter. The performance is not an exchange of energy tonight. It is an act of defiance. You think of the industry reports you read last week. The ones about rising production costs, about the 25% drop in subscription renewals across the region, about the existential threat of digital inertia. You don't model the human cost. Nobody asks you to. You just look at the numbers and realize that the machine you serve is breaking down. But your numbers are on the stage, your work is in the monologue, and somewhere in the silence of these 4 walls, you start to understand the geometry of this survival. You walk toward the center of the floor. The stage boards creak under your boots. It's a familiar language. You've memorized every loose nail and every uneven seam in this wood. You hit your mark. You don't need a spot. You can find the light by the temperature of the air on your skin. You perform for the ghost light. You perform for the memory of the laughter that once vibrated these walls in 1994 when the house was sold out for 42 consecutive nights. You aren't mourning the past. You are just keeping the space warm. This is Stanislavski's concept of public solitude. It is the ability to be completely, utterly alone while standing in the center of a public place. You are not performing for their validation. You are performing to remain tethered to the craft. Acting is a use it or lose it cognitive exercise. It requires the total synchronization of breath, memory, and presence. If you stop doing it, the neurons start to fade. The connections that allow you to embody another human being begin to dissolve. So you perform. You give it the same weight, the same intensity, the same crystalline focus you would if the house were full of critics. You open your mouth. Your voice carries into the rafters. It doesn't bounce back with the soft, dampening effect of a full crowd. It echoes slightly, sharp, and clinical. It bounces off the empty velvet chairs and returns to you, hollow. You deliver the line. It is a line about grief. It is a line about the way time strips a person of their illusions. You find the truth in it. You don't rush the pacing. You give the silence between the words the space it deserves. If there is one person in the 10th row, they are getting the performance of their life. If there is nobody there, the performance is still happening. The physics of the moment demand it. You are a professional. That is the internal contract you signed 30 years ago, long before the venues started fading. You are not a service provider. You are a vessel. You move across the stage with precision. You adjust your posture. You sharpen your eyes. You feel the surge of adrenaline that comes with the heightened stakes of absolute performance. The brain doesn't know you're alone. It only knows that the performance is occurring, and so it fires the same chemicals, the same neurotransmitters that keep you alert, resilient, and alive. The act of performing is your anchor. The world outside this theater is volatile. Prices for mezzanine financing are rising for the theater owners. The corporate sponsors are pulling their branding to chase digital impressions. The city is changing. But in here, the light is fixed. In here, the ritual remains intact. You finish the first act. You walk off into the darkness of the stage left wing. You don't wipe your brow. You don't look for an audience reaction. You head straight for the water glass, take a sip, and check the time. 7:22 p.m. You have 8 minutes until the second act. You sit in the dark. You remember the sound of a sold-out house. It's a thick, heavy sound. It's the sound of 1,200 people breathing in unison. It's the sound of the rustle of programs and the shifting of legs. It's a collective vibration that you can feel in your marrow. That sound is gone now. It might never come back in this building, but you don't let the sadness take root. You don't have time for it. You have to focus on the next beat, the next transition, the next shift in the narrative. You realize that the theater is a repository of history. Every board on this floor has been walked by 1,000 different ghosts. Every light fixture has seen 1,000 different faces. You are just the current custodian. You are holding the space for the next generation of actors, or for the day the lights go out for good. That is the second rule of the game. Proximity to the craft is proximity to the truth. You don't need a large audience to justify the pursuit of excellence. Excellence is a private standard. It is the refusal to accept a lower quality of output just because the feedback loop is broken. You stand up. You fix your collar. You head back toward the glow of the stage. The ghost light is still there, waiting. It doesn't judge you. It doesn't demand metrics. It just offers a steady, constant illumination against the encroaching dark. You step back into the heat of the stage lights. They blind you for a second, a sharp, white glare that makes the world behind the front row vanish completely. You are in the zone again. You begin the second act. You are articulate. You are precise. You are entirely present. You are not a veteran of a dying industry. You are a master of a living art form. You realize that the emptiness of the auditorium isn't a failure. It is a canvas. It is a clean, silent space where your voice can exist without interference. You aren't fighting for attention. You are creating a reality. And for the next 2 hours, this building exists solely because you are keeping it alive with your presence. The curtain call arrives. You walk to the edge of the stage. You bow to the darkness. You don't wait for applause. You don't need the validation of a hand clap. You know what you did. You know the quality of the work. And as you turn and walk back into the wings, you hear the faint, distant hum of the ghost light, still burning, still holding the space. That is enough. You have done your job. The lights in the auditorium will stay on for exactly 10 more minutes before the master switch is thrown. You collect your things, leave the stage, and step out into the cold night air. You did it again. You kept the light on. If you want to understand how the machines are built, you know what to do.